In fact, I'm pretty sure that this has gotten a better workout than my Peloton has recently. There's a name for that. It's called like mise en place. And I'm doing this backwards, so cut me some slack, all right? It's really quite ingenious. I like that feature. Everything is cooked perfectly all at the same time. I'm not even gonna tell you guys how many times I've made this because it's so good. Welcome to the Spicy Apron Cooking Show. My name is Heather and I am here to show you the easiest ways to get the best results in your kitchen. And today I am very, very excited because I am going to show you a cooking demo with the brand new Multo by CookingPal. Now, those of you who follow me know that CookingPal reached out to me because they have a brand new all-in-one smart kitchen appliance that they're just coming out to market with. And they wanted to see if I wanted to give it a try to see if it's something I think you guys would like. So thank you to CookingPal for not only sending me this Multo, but also for sponsoring this video so I could actually take the time to dig in and experiment and try recipes to see if I think that this is a good product for you guys. And I guess the fact that I'm actually here showing it to you, you probably know the answer to that. So today I'm going to show you this super rich and creamy and amazingly delicious homemade from scratch mac and cheese. And believe it or not, it's super, super easy. And I'm also going to kick it up a notch by making it a complete meal with some ham and some broccoli. So you'll be able to see many of the functions that the Multo can do. Now, this video is the second in a series of 3 videos I'm doing. The last one was the unboxing of the Multo. I'll put a link to that right here. And that's where I show you all of the accessories and everything that comes in the box. So be sure to check that out if you're interested in that. Now I'm going to do the cooking demo. And then next week, I am going to give you my straight up, honest review of what I like about the Multo, what I love about the Multo, and maybe a couple things that I think could use some improvement. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell because that way you'll be notified when that video comes out. You guys, I had a really, really hard time picking which recipe to showcase for you to try to show you as many of the functions that the Multo can do. I have tried many, many recipes at this point. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this has gotten a better workout than my Peloton has recently. But if you can tell, don't comment about that. Anyway, let's get to the mac and cheese. First, let me just show you, because this is a new product, kind of the basics of what this is. This is the control hub. It's a tablet. I do have it plugged in, but you can certainly unplug it and take it around the house to watch things as they go on. This is the main mixing bowl. And then I also have here that I'm going to use the steamer basket. So I will be able to show you everything. This thing does everything. It chops and it grinds and it cooks and it sautés and it boils and oh my gosh, the list goes on and on and on. So let's get to it. Let me just take the lid off first to get started. If you guys saw my last video on this, you know the quality, the feel, the quality of this, very, very, very high. So bonus points for that. This light was green and now I think it's yellow. What that does is it's a safety feature. This will only function if the lid or the steaming basket are securely in place. So that's kind of nice. You don't want things flying out all over the place. Now I am going to grab this tablet. Hopefully I've got some overhead shots showing you the controls as I am doing that. Okay, so the Multo has kind of 2 different modes. They've got this guided recipe section, which is fabulous. And they also do have manuals. So if you want to just like jump in and do it on your own and, you know, figure it out without following a recipe, that is totally fine too. I have done that as well. But for today, I'm going to show you a guided recipe and I am going to show you the mac and cheese. Now, like I said, I am adding to it to make it a complete meal. So I'm not following it exactly, which is a wonderful thing about this. You can follow a guided recipe, but add to it if you want to. If you'll notice, the first screen that it pulls up is the list of ingredients. Now, kind of as an aside, everything is pretty much done in ounces here. And that was a little bit of a learning curve for me because typically I will measure things in cups or teaspoons, tablespoons. So that was a little bit of a challenge for me. I do know the real chefs, they actually prefer to cook by weight instead of by measurement. So it's actually going to get you better results, but just kind of a heads up when it comes don't freak out. It's pretty easy, and I'll show you in just a second to follow that part of the recipe. Okay, so now I have my list of ingredients, and I am gonna put it down to 2 servings. That automatically recalculates how much you need. I love that feature. And then you just go ahead and hit start cooking. Now it'll show you the first thing to do is get all of your ingredients together, which I have. There's a name for that. It's called like mise en place or something. If you know what that term is, put a link below. I'm actually kind of embarrassed that I don't know it off the top of my head. My son graduated from culinary school last year, so he would be a little bit embarrassed, but it's not the first time I have embarrassed him, I'm sure. Okay, so now you have your ingredients together, and then you just tap to start cooking. And this is a feature I absolutely love. Now it tells you in the top corner how many ounces. The first thing we're gonna do is water. We're gonna boil the water, and it tells you how many you need. And yes, you can do that with a measuring cup, but this has a built-in scale. Love it. It is very precise and accurate and super easy to use. So hopefully you can see this count up. I'm gonna pour in the water I have. Let's see if I put it here, and you'll see the scale start to count. Oh God, I'm making a mess. Sorry, it's just water. You'll see the scale start to count up. I have 20 ounces in there. The recipe called for 17 and a half. This is to boil pasta. You do not need to be quite that exact with it, but it's nice to know you can be for the recipes where you should be. Because I'm adding to it and steaming broccoli, I actually did want to add a few extra ounces. So now I'm going to start this next step, which is boiling the water. Because I'm going to also steam broccoli with it, I'm going to alter the time. Now you can see it's set by default for 10 minutes, but what's wonderful is I can just add, I'm going to add 6 more minutes because I'm going to steam fresh broccoli. So I now have it set to 16 minutes, and let me put my broccoli and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now these are steaming baskets. I'm going to be using both of them for this meal, but for now I'm only going to use the first one to do the broccoli. So I'm going to set the smaller one aside, and I'm going to pour my broccoli into this large steaming basket. Okay, so now the basket goes on, and I'm doing this backwards, so cut me some slack, all right? I actually did practice to make sure I can do it. All right, let's see if I got it right. This is actually my second take on this. All right, I got it right on the second take. Okay, now that the steaming basket is in place securely, and I will just put the lid on it, and I'm gonna hit start. So very, very cool. What it's doing now is it's gonna heat the water to boiling, and then also it'll give it extra time for this to steam. So I will be back with you when this step is done. While this is doing its thing, I do want to let you know that the Multo is currently available for pre-order at a pretty steep discount. I will put a link to that below. Make sure you check it out. My understanding is they will be available for shipment in June. So if you pre-order now, you're going to get a big discount, and then you'll get it in June, which is just right around the corner. Okay, so as you can see, it's steaming away. The timer is just about up. So moving on to the next step, but I wanted to quickly mention this standalone tablet that is dedicated to the CookingPal Multo. A couple people have said, yeah, but I already have my own tablet. I'm not sure I want another one. This has become one of my favorite features. It is a dedicated tablet. It stays in the kitchen, although occasionally I take it with me back in my office if I want to check to see how things are going, if I'm not standing right here. But it's really made to be in the kitchen. It's splash proof. You can have dirty fingers and use it, and then you're not getting your own personal tablet dirty. So I love having the standalone tablet for it. Now let's get to the next part of the recipe. And again, all you do is just push the arrow and go to the next part, and it is telling me to add the pasta. Now, like I said, I am altering this a little bit, and I'm going to add, I've already done the broccoli, which is going to need a little bit more time to cook. Now I'm going to add ham to it. I'm going to use the thin steaming basket, and this is just pre-cooked ham, and you just spread it on top of this thin steaming basket. I'm going to put it right on top of the broccoli. Ooh, look at that. You can tell it looks fabulous. So now I'm just going to warm up this ham at the same time as finishing my broccoli. But I have to add the pasta, which is the next step that it's telling me. So for now, I'm going to remove this just for a second while I add the pasta. So obviously this water is hot, and I'm just gonna pour in 8 ounces of pasta. Okay, so now that the pasta's in there, I just add my partially cooked broccoli and ham. Now this is gonna default to 10 minutes, but it does say in the recipe, cook the pasta to al dente. This particular brand that I have, al dente, is at about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna reduce this to 7 minutes, and in that 7 minutes, the broccoli is gonna finish and the ham will be all warmed up. So just hit start and there it goes. And I don't know if you can hear that, but it is mixing. It has a very slow mixer on the bottom so the pasta will not stick together. And it's going to cook it perfectly. And I know that because I've had this recipe and it's delicious. So I'll let it do its thing. And then we're gonna put together the sauce, which is unbelievable. Okay, this step is almost done cooking, and I am gonna drain the macaroni into this little simmering basket that also came with my multo. But first, I've gotta take the lid off, and this is, again, the broccoli's in here, the ham is in here, and the pasta is in here. I am just so amazed you can do this entire meal and everything is cooked perfectly all at the same time. All right, we're gonna take this off and then I will get back to this in a minute because the next part is we get to make the sauce. Okay, so if you look, this is the pasta that is cooked to al dente and it is perfect. So let me get that out and then we're gonna put the sauce together. And this device is just so easy to use. It's very solid, very sturdy, easy. Nothing about it's wobbly or anything like that. And it has a super large capacity. So if you have a larger family, it's great for that too. All right, so one of my favorite things about the multo is its ability to cook sauces, and sauces that are delicate, or sometimes they tend to burn, or they take a lot of work. And this cuts the work down to almost nothing. And mac and cheese sauce is one of those things. I don't know how many of you love to make homemade mac and cheese. I certainly do. But to do it right, you have to grate a ton of different types of cheeses. They're hard, and it takes a lot of time. This reduces the time significantly, and I am going to show you that. So again, now I've jumped back into the recipe, and I am following it exactly. And if you see right up here, it does show you the amounts of cheese we're gonna put in. A couple things amaze me about this. Number one, it is the best mac and cheese I've ever had, but it uses cheese, but not a whole ton of cheese, but it is so rich and creamy, it is amazing. So as we follow along with the recipe, the first thing to do is grate the cheese. Now, as I was saying, it does, normally you just have to sit there and grate, and yeah, I know, again, I need to work out a little bit more, but it isn't gonna be grating cheese. So this is extra sharp cheddar and Parmesan, and those of you who grate it know how hard that is to grate. Just go ahead and dump that in. And like I said, it does have the scale if you wanna weigh it as you dump it in. But I've made this recipe several times, so I already know. And it even takes 1 slice of American cheese to add to that creaminess. Okay, now that the cheeses are in, let me get the lid. This is maybe the step that amazes me the most. And that is, it actually takes literally 5 seconds. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit start. And just like that, the cheeses are done. So now lid off and we're gonna build the rest of the sauce. Now the multo also comes with this very handy spatula. I use it all the time. And I have noticed that it's very helpful after grinding things to just go ahead and scrape the sides down so you get all of that yumminess in the bottom of the bowl to make the sauce. Okay, so the next step is to add the milk. And like I mentioned earlier, because I am adding some ingredients, I am actually going a little bit above what the recommended recipe calls for. And then from there, it just walks you through the rest. Butter, it is almost 2 tablespoons worth. A pinch of nutmeg, and you guys, this nutmeg makes a huge difference in the sauce. It's delicious. And then it's also telling me to add 1/2 ounce of flour. Now this is also such a great feature. So if you see now, everything I have in there totals about 9 ounces. If I hit the tare button, the scale resets down to 0. So I now can know how much 1/2 ounce of flour is. So I just sprinkle it in. Okay, so now I'm gonna cook the sauce. I just put the lid back on, and the default time is for 10 minutes. So what I love about this is because, again, it's whole milk, it's cheese, it's butter, that type of sauce can have a tendency to burn. This keeps it moving. It's got that very slow stirring that's going on at the base, and it heats it to the perfect temperature to melt everything and make it nice and creamy, but it's not going to burn it. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to sit there and stir it or whisk it or do anything. It does everything for me. It is truly a remarkable device that way. Okay, so that rich and creamy mac and cheese sauce is done. Now we just need to put it together. All right, lid comes back off, and you can see, I assume from the camera above, how wonderful that cheese sauce is. It's all melty, and it's not chunky. It's perfect. Now I'm going to add the al dente cooked pasta. It's just been sitting in the steamer basket, and it's perfectly fine. I'm going to add that back in. And this is where I am deviating a little bit from the recipe, and now I'm going to add that ham in. So let me grab that. So here is the tray that we did earlier that's got the ham and the broccoli in it. I am only adding the ham to the pasta, and I'm going to have the broccoli on the side. Okay, so the ham is fully cooked, and now it's nice and warm. Now this is a little trick that I love that the Multo does. So lid goes back on, and obviously that is cooked pasta. So we don't want to make a mushy mess out of it. So the next step is to just very gently mix it. And the way they do it is the spatula that comes with it has this part on the base. You just put it in and it's going to mix it. I'm hitting start. So it slowly mixes it around the spatula to mix it all together. And it does that for 30 seconds. It's really quite ingenious. I like that feature. And my fully cooked broccoli is right here. It's still warm. It's just been sitting in there, and we'll serve it as a side dish. All right, let's check it out. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? Okay, I'm gonna put it in a bowl with some broccoli on the side so you can see that, but it is rich and creamy, and oh, it's got that ham in there. Let me get a bowl. You could also throw the broccoli right in there and just have an all-in-one meal, but would you just look at that? It's perfect mac and cheese with some ham in it. Oh, I'm not even gonna tell you guys how many times I've made this because it's so good. Those of you who make homemade mac and cheese know how hard it is to get that rich and creamy and non-clumpy texture. And again, I've made this one a lot. It's perfect every time, every single time. Let's get some broccoli on it. So there you have it, this bowl. Okay, I totally know exactly what it's gonna taste like, but I'm gonna taste it anyway. The flavor of that sauce is unbelievable, and there just aren't even very many ingredients in it. I'll tell you what, the recipes that come with the Multo are truly spectacular. All right, now I have to taste the broccoli, but like I can pierce it and I can tell it's also, that's too big. I can tell it's also gonna be perfect. Oops. All right, here's that broccoli. Oh, tender, fully cooked, absolutely delicious. What's kind of nice about the broccoli is because I steamed it with the ham at some point, there's a tiny bit of the saltiness from the ham that I can taste in that broccoli. It is delicious. So there you have it, guys, an all-in-one, all at the same time meal that is homemade, from scratch, creamy mac and cheese with ham, with broccoli. Dinner's done. And, oh, and I'm going to talk more about this in the next video. The Multo has a self-cleaning function that's amazing. I mean, just wait till you see it. Thank you for watching the Spicy Apron cooking show. Happy cooking and happy eating. And I do want to let you guys know that the Multo is available right now for pre-order at a pretty steep discount. So don't forget to look for the link below for the pre-order for the Multo.